Recording. All right, everybody, thanks for coming to this Team Beachbody Opportunity webinar. My name is Ryan Chapman, and I'm a 7-star diamond, two-time elite coach with Team Beachbody, and I am really excited to talk to you guys tonight about just to share with you really what I have to share with you. I've got this team of coaches, many of whom have been inviting you. Someone on my team, either myself or one of my coaches, has invited you to this webinar tonight. And they're inviting you to this webinar because they care about you. And that's what we talk about on our team all the time. We talk about, we want to share this opportunity with people because it's done so much for us that we have to share it with people, right? We have to show people the great stuff that has happened to us and give them the opportunity to be able to do the same thing. And so I really want you to think about this as we go through this as an opportunity. No one has invited you here to try to talk you into doing something that is not going to work for you or is not a good opportunity for you. They've invited you here because they think that you have the skills and you have the stuff that it takes to be successful with this, which means that you have the opportunity to reach some kind of a goal or do something amazing. And that could be a lot of different things for different people. It could be that maybe you want to fire your boss. Maybe you've got a really big goal like that, like I really don't like where I work. And maybe this opportunity is something that you could build over a couple of years, and we'll talk a little bit about that, that could help you do that. It also could be maybe you just want to make an extra $500 to pay a bill or something like that. This could be the opportunity for that. Maybe you really love to see other people reach their goals and live a healthy and fulfilling life, and this could be the opportunity to help you do that. Maybe you love Beachbody products and you're already sharing them with people, and this is the opportunity to take that to a whole new level, to keep yourself more accountable, to do all these different things, okay? So I don't know what exactly your goal is, and I don't know exactly what this opportunity is going to mean to you, but I want you to think about it as an opportunity to reach goals, to do things like that, and not as another responsibility. We're not asking you to come here to take on some kind of a responsibility to go coach people. We're giving you the opportunity to do something awesome, and that's really how we feel about it, and we want to share that opportunity with you. I don't know if this opportunity is right for you, but I'm going to share with you what it did for me. And then I'm also going to talk to my good friend Lisa Madson, who is on this call with us, and she's going to share some of what it did for her. And then I'll go through a little bit of the details of how the business works. I don't want to get into reading you the entire policies and procedures manual or something boring like that, but I will show you the basics of how it works. And then you're going to get to make your decision. You're going to get to say, yes, this is something that I really want to do. And you're going to get in touch with the person that invited you here, or you're going to say, you know what, that opportunity is not for me. And whoever invited you here is going to say, you know what, that's okay. I'm not going to unfriend you because you don't want to do this opportunity. I just wanted you to see it. Okay. So that's what we want to do here. We want to take it from that perspective and not one of like trying to convince you or trying to hassle you into doing anything. We just want to share this opportunity. So let me give you a little bit of background on myself. I used to weigh 100 pounds more than I do today. Well, probably about 95 or 90 pounds more than I do today. But I've been as much as 100 pounds down from my highest weight. And I lost a bunch of that weight with calorie restriction. And it was horrible. I hated it. I hated dieting. I hated doing all that kind of stuff. But I had these really big goals, and eventually I said, well, I'm just going to restrict my calories and I'm going to make it to these goals. And I worked out a ton. I played a ton of racquetball, all this stuff. I got into triathlon, and I'm going kind of fast because I really want to get Lisa on here and tell you her story. But I lost all this weight. I got into triathlons. I'm doing triathlons, and then I had twins. And when you have twins and you're training for half Ironmans and things like that, you can't just leave your wife at home with twin newborns, just 2 infants and her in the house, and go on a 3-hour bike ride. It doesn't go over well. So I had to find some other way to stay in shape and keep the weight off, and to do some new challenge, because I was into challenging myself with these half Ironmans and Ironmans and stuff. And so I picked up a copy of P90X, and I bought it off of eBay, and it ended up being a rip-off copy that was made in China. So be careful about buying programs off of eBay. They're not supposed to be sold on there, and a lot of times they're Chinese ripoff copies. But that's what I got in the mail, and it still worked okay, but there was like tons of errors in it everywhere. And I got through the program. I got great results. It helped me with my triathlon training. I met this guy online, Dave Ward, who's one of the founding coaches with Team Beachbody, him and his wife. And he said, hey, you know, I'm doing this coaching thing. And he was just like I am with you right now. He shared his story, and he let me decide whether that was something that fit into my life, and it was an opportunity that I wanted to take. And here I was with brand new twin girls, and I was leaving them at home every day to go to this job. I was leaving at 6:30 in the morning, and if they woke up when they were 1 year old, if they woke up by 6:30, it was not by much, maybe half an hour, 15 minutes. I'd get to see the kids then. I'd come home at 4:30, 5 o'clock, and they'd be back in bed at 6. You know, at 1 year old, they're sleeping 12 hours if they're sleeping like they should, which they were, and that was awesome. But I was leaving my kids and only seeing them for like maybe 2 hours a day. And I didn't like that at all. I was not happy about that. But at the time, I was just like, this is how things go. You know, I go to work. You know, my wife went to work at the same time. We left them with grandma. And so I ended up deciding to go ahead and become a coach and do it as a side business and see where things went. Eventually, by 2011, I finally took the business really, really seriously. And I went for it with Team Beachbody. And I was able to create an income for myself that I was able to quit my job in 2012, stay home with my kids. And by 2013, I was surpassing the engineering income that I had with the government, which was a 6-figure income. And now I'm well into a 6-figure income with Team Beachbody. And I'll tell you, the thing that really changed it for me was when I was out in Washington, D.C., and I sat down with this executive, and he said, he gave me his whole timeline of how he got to where he was. And it was kind of where I was headed in my career. And he told me about his family life, and it just kind of hit me there when I was there that wasn't the kind of family life that I wanted to have. And so I made the changes, and Team Beachbody was what gave me that opportunity to actually go and stay home with my kids. And so now I walk my kids to school or drive my kids to school and pick them up from school every day. 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm taking my kids to school. When they have a day off or they have a field trip or something like that, I have the option to go with them. I'm working my business from home. I'm able to schedule my time around what I actually want to do with my kids, rather than someone else telling me when I'm going to be able to work with my kids or be with my kids. So that's pretty much my story. And I feel like, did we just lose Lisa? Or Lisa, are you still on here? Lisa? I know she's got some bad internet sometimes where she's at. Lisa, are you here? Lisa. Okay, I think we've lost Lisa, and if she comes back, then we're going to get into Lisa's story. But I wanted to give you a background on my story because I think that, it kind of gives you an idea of what's possible with it.
I'm on, yeah.
Oh, Lisa, you're back. You back? Kind of in and out. Lisa? Okay, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the other part of the presentation, and if we get Lisa back, then we'll go talk to Lisa at the end of the presentation, okay? So that was a little bit about my story. I talked about, wanting to stay home with my kids, and you can see that I've actually been able to, over time, be able to go from working full-time and being an engineer and making a 6-figure income to all the way to, now I'm making a 6-figure income with Beachbody and I'm staying home with my kids. And your story could be anywhere in between. Maybe, like I said, maybe you want to fire your boss. Maybe you want to do that. Maybe you just need to make a couple $100 extra bucks. Maybe you need to, maybe you just love helping people and there's something in that for you. It does not have to be that you quit your job. I want everybody to understand that it does not have to be a business where your only options are you either don't make it and you don't get to quit your job, or you do make it and you do get to quit your job. You could do this job alongside your current job and make an extra 500 bucks and be happy. That's totally up to you. I think it's really important to understand that there's so many possibilities with this business, and it's something that you can try and make a full-time business while you're still doing your other business. And I think that's really important to understand. And we've got a story about that right now with Lisa. So Lisa is back on, it looks like. And I think, Lisa, you can hear me?
I can, yeah.
Okay. So let's start kind of at the same place where I started my story. You used to be like 100 pounds heavier as well, right? I mean,
correct. Yes.
So tell me about back then, like, how did you start losing weight? It wasn't with Beachbody.
It wasn't. No, actually, I was never really active at all. Didn't grow up with really good nutrition or anything. Never had really a weight problem until after I started having kids. And then my weight just went up and up and up and up. And then finally, I just reached this point. I had just tried a lot of diets, but my weight was always just, you know, I would lose 10 and gain 20 and lose 20 and gain 30 and, you know, until I reached the point where I was like almost 250 pounds and 5'7". And so I had gone into to see my doctor, and on my 40th birthday, or right around my 40th birthday, and he had said, you know, your blood pressure is really high. You really need to go on blood pressure medication. Your cholesterol is like over 300. You really need to go on cholesterol medication. You know, I was on antidepressants and just really not at a good place in my life at all. And so I had some coworkers and everything that were avid cyclists. And so I thought, you know, I just need to, I think I can do this. I just need to like not eat as much and get really active. And so I started doing like a 1,200 calorie diet, just extreme calorie restriction, and just started really getting active, doing some long distance cycling, and then eventually some triathlons and some things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So restricting your calories down to 1,200 and doing long distance cycling, that was probably fun, huh?
That was the worst experience of my life. It was horrible. Yeah. It was awful, and I was miserable every second. Yeah.
Okay, so you lost like the first 70 pounds that way, right? And
correct. Yes.
And that wasn't easy, but then
not at all.
But then it got even harder at some point, right? What happened?
Exactly. And so, you know, I was doing all these things, and then my daughter had said, we had talked about it, and we were like, you know, let's run a marathon. And so in 2011, I signed up for my first full 26.2 mile marathon, and we started training, and I was just running, you know, hours and hours every week. At the peak of my training, I was running, you know, 35, 40 miles in a week. And I remembered that, you know, I was part of this weight loss group, and I had gone to weigh in that week, that I had ran 40 miles and I had gained 4 pounds. And I was just devastated. I was like, oh my gosh, how did this happen? And the leader of our weight loss group said, you probably just need to eat less.
Right. Like, just eat less and still run 40 miles, right?
I can't do this.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we started to work together at that point, right? And
exactly. Yeah. And I had like 40 pounds to lose, and knew I couldn't continue. I had been at a standstill, like, you know, like within 5 pounds for probably a year or a little bit more before I came and talked to you.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I remember that. It was like, you know, well, I just can't get this last 40 pounds off. And, you know, some people get to that point, and we're kind of getting more into nutrition and stuff like this than what we're really talking about on this call. But, you know, some people get to that point and they just say, well, you know, that's just like, I'm just not one of those skinny people. So this is just, you know, where my body wants to be or whatever. And a lot of times that's not true. It's just that they're doing calorie restriction. And so I introduced you to 90-10 nutrition and Shakeology, which we'll talk a little bit more about 90-10 in a minute. The 90-10 is not a Beachbody program. It's my nutrition program. But I also introduced you to Shakeology, which is a Beachbody product. And you were like right on board with that, right? You were like not skeptical at all. You were like, oh, that sounds like it'll work great, and I'm totally going to buy that shake, and everything's going to be good, right?
No, matter of fact, in the 90-10 nutrition program, and I was like, yeah, I want to do this, but can I do it with? Did you get that?
Lisa, your bandwidth is really low and it's kind of cutting in and out. Are you able to hear me okay?
Is it? Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, now I can. Yep. So say that again.
Okay, so yeah, no, I didn't want to do Shakeology. In fact, I said, can I just do the 90-10 nutrition without Shakeology?
Right. Well, but you did it anyway, and so tell us about the results. How did you lose the 40 pounds?
I absolutely did. 2 consecutive 90-10 challenges, 8 weeks each. And so basically 4 months and 40 pounds. Did a ultimate reset, but yeah, got to my goal weight. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And so then after that, like right after you lost your 40 pounds and you did the Shakeology, and then you canceled your Shakeology, and I told you that you needed to be a coach because your results were so great and because you were so inspirational and that you could help a lot of people. And of course, you jumped right on board with that and you weren't skeptical at all and you thought it would be a great idea, right?
No, actually, because I've tried to sell everything. I've tried to sell Mary Kay and Tupperware, and I'm dating myself. But yeah, a lot of things, I've tried to sell, and I've never been successful ever. And so I had talked to my husband about it, and I said, I really got great results with this, and I think I can give it a go. Yeah.
And what did he say?
He said, okay, well, that's fine. I give you have 6 months. You have 6 months to make your money back.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And how long did it take you to do that?
Well, to make back the $160 that I spent to invest in this business, I made it back the first month.
Right. And actually in the first 2 months, you made enough to pay for all your Shakeology for a year or something like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, so we're going through this story faster than I would really like to tell more details of this story because it's an awesome story. But what we really want to get to is fast forward 2 years from when you paid for all your Shakeology and blew that 6-month time limit out of the water and made your money back in a couple of weeks. And 2 years, and now you just did something super exciting and amazing related to this business, like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. What was that?
Right. My government job.
You quit your government job? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you were able to quit your government job, and so now you're doing Beachbody full time, right?
Right.
Okay, so tell us why you did that, and are you excited about that? And just this is like your open forum. Tell people why that's just why you're so excited.
Okay, so I'm really active. I love racing in triathlons. I love doing marathons. I love that. Two of my girls live really close to me. My son lives in Minot, North Dakota. I have 4 grandkids and 1 on the way. And I'm not a person to kind of just sit and do nothing. I'm always busy, always active. And so here I am, getting up at really 3:45 in the morning and going to bed at 11 o'clock at night, trying to work my business, trying to build my business, working my full-time government job, full-time, even more sometimes, trying to fit in spending time with my kids and my grandkids and my husband, and just virtually cut life, no downtime whatsoever. And I love working my business, and I love running triathlons, and I love doing marathons, and I love spending time with my family, and I love spending time with my grandkids. Uh, did and in something that I felt like I really need to keep my job because it pays the bills. And, you know, I worked really hard to get where I am in the government and worked my way up through the GS levels. And it just seemed like what I wanted to do is I wanted to get my business to where my level was in the government before I quit my job. What I discovered is that I kind of needed to take, and because I just didn't have time. Mm-hmm. But what do I want to do? Do I want to continue to do something that I don't love, and give up everything that I do love? Do I want to give up spending time with my family? Do I want to give up racing triathlons and marathons? Do I want to give up doing my Beachbody business and where I get to help people and make a difference in people's life? Or do I want to give up the one thing that I don't love? And so it came down to that for me. And so I talked to my husband about it, and we figured it out, and we budgeted and everything. And we said, you know, let's give it some time. Let's give it a year and see if you can make this go. And you know, and it's interesting because when he said that about me starting this business, you know, give you 6 months, I'm not really the type to waste any time. So I plan on really making it work, and I'm excited about it.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that. I'm excited for you too. And I thank you for being on and telling us your story about going from being someone who was struggling with that last 40 pounds, finding something that worked for you, finding something that made sense, and then going and taking the next step to pay it forward to other people, and then finding so much fulfillment from that and so much joy in that you said, now I can do something that I love. Like, do you not get emails and stuff and messages from people all the time that say thank you for what you do? Thank you, you know. Constantly.
I was just telling somebody that today. I said, you know, I get emails from people that say you changed my life. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, to be an active participant in life change in people, because I know what it's like to be there, to be someone that has struggled with their weight their whole life, and then finally to find something that you can live with. And it's just, I know how that feels. And to be able to do that and make that difference in other people's lives is just incredible.
Right. I totally agree. Well, thank you, Lisa. I'm glad that you could come on with us. Sorry, everyone, about the choppiness, if you heard any choppiness there, but hopefully you got Lisa's story. I told people this is about a 30-minute webinar, so I've only got about 5 minutes left, which I kind of figured was going to happen. But we're going to go ahead and go into a little bit more detail. I'm going to take you through a short little PowerPoint presentation to talk about the business, and then you guys are going to get to make your decision about what, you know, is this something that's going to fit into your life to either build a business slowly as you work your business and then eventually quit, or is it something that you're going to build slowly on the side and you never quit your job? Like, maybe you love your job, and we don't want this to sound like, you know, everybody must hate their job and they want to become a Beachbody coach. You can do this part-time while you work your job, or you could do it part-time, build it up, and quit your job. There's lots of options here. Okay, so thank you, Lisa, very much for telling your story. I'm going to go ahead and go into a screen share here, and we'll do the rest of this presentation. Let's see, desktop, share screen. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. Lisa, can you give me a thumbs up if you can see the presentation? Thumbs up. Good. All right. See if I can get this thing to work here. All right. So we've kind of talked about what the opportunity is, but I'll just go through this real quick. What we have as an opportunity to be a Team Beachbody coach is what I refer to as a cause marketing opportunity. Cause marketing just means, like you have a charity, they have a cause, right? They're trying to end world hunger. They're trying to bring water to people who don't have water. They're trying to, find a cure for cancer or a cure for AIDS or something like that, right? But they're a charity, so they're nonprofit. We have a cause, just like a charity has a cause, but this is a for-profit business. Okay, so it's cause marketing opportunity, and we're solving a huge social problem, and we're having breakthrough success, and we really actually need more people to actually meet the demand of this. So a lot of people talk about in this kind of business, well, is the market saturated, they'll say. And market saturation just meaning, is there too many Beachbody coaches out there? And so there's not going to be any prospects or people left for me to help because they're already being helped by Beachbody coaches. And let me tell you that honest as I can possibly be, that there is a super need for more coaches to go help people. Every day I run into people all over the place that are just like, they need help, and I don't even have the bandwidth to help all of them. Okay, so there's no market saturation going on here. 300 million people in the US. There's like 200,000 coaches, and there's a lot less than that actually going out there and helping people. And so we need more people to go do it. So you have an opportunity sitting here in front of you where you can help solve a huge social problem with a company that's having real success with it, that needs more help to be able to have the success that where we could actually change this social problem. I think you know what the social problem is because we just talked about it. It's obesity, right? 2/3 of adults, 1/5 of kids are overweight or obese in the US, costing the taxpayers probably more than $350 billion now. It's growing. It's getting worse. We need the help, right? Here's the obesity trends in 2010, which is probably worse than this now. But those darkest red states, there's I think 13 states there where the BMI is greater than or equal to 30 for over 30% of the population of that state, which means basically over 30% of the population of those states are overweight or obese, which is a lot, right? And we're having the success stories. The stuff that we do actually works. It actually helps people lose weight and get in shape. Okay, the company's Beachbody. It's founded in 1998 by Carl Deichler and John Congdon. In 1998, there was no coaches. There was a company that did infomercials. They had a mission. They still have this mission, which is help people achieve their goals and enjoy a healthy, fulfilling life. And that is what they started the company for, was to use fitness and nutrition to help people achieve their goals and enjoy a healthy, fulfilling life. But they were doing it all with infomercials. You've probably seen most of these products, right? Turbo Jam, Brazil Butt Lift, 10-Minute Trainer, P90X, all these programs. There's lots more now. And they're all over the TV, right, with infomercials. Even right now, I think we have 9 or 10 #1 ranked infomercials now because we got a couple more that have come through. But here's what they found. They found out that infomercials alone won't give you the success that you need with fitness. It won't get you the results that you need. It will help, infomercials will help you sell an exercise program. They will help you sell nutrition products, and they were doing amazing at that. They were making tons of money selling great nutrition programs, great exercise programs, but they had no way to provide personal support to people, and that is part of the success equation for people. They need support. Okay, I'll tell you a little bit more about that. So in 2004, P90X came out, and it was the first time that anybody had said on an infomercial that this isn't going to be easy. It's not going to be 3 days a week, 30 minutes a day, and you have abs. They said it's going to be 6 days a week. It's going to be 60 to 90 minutes, and you're going to get your butt kicked. And people bought that program like crazy off of infomercials. It was one of the best-selling programs ever on infomercials. But here's what happened. They did a survey because they weren't getting as many results pictures sent in as they expected based on sales. They did a survey, and out of the sample of people that they surveyed, 55% of them had not opened the box. They bought it off the infomercial and didn't open the box. And that's that support piece, right? And so the first thing they did is they created some forums. People could get on the forums, get some community going. People could help people. And they had like 40 people on there that they called coaches, who were people who had results, who were willing to help other people get the results. And there was these people on there, like my upline coach, his wife, was on there on those forums just helping people get results with these programs. And so then they figured out in 2007, they decided to launch Team Beachbody, which was a support network of coaches who are getting compensated for helping other people reach their goals. And it completed that support equation. So it was just people who had good results. They said, hey, why don't you come become the first coaches in this network, and we will compensate you for helping other people reach their goals and being their support system. You don't have to be a personal trainer. You don't have to be a nutrition expert. You just have to be the person that supports the other person. And we'll pay you part of the sale of that product. Instead of paying for an infomercial, we'll pay you part of the sale of the product, and then you be the support system, the community piece that helps people actually open the box, So I like to think of myself as the person that gets people to open the box when they buy it. Like, I make them open the box. And then I say, hey, you open the box. Are you going to put it in the DVD player? Hey, you open the box. Are you going to mix up that shake? Hey, you went grocery shopping. Are you going to eat right today? Like, I'm that community support piece that helps that. We do that through groups. We do it all different kinds of ways. Okay. So we got this thing going. We're a bunch of coaches. We got all these programs that people already know. You go out and talk to somebody, they already know about P90X, Insanity, all these different programs. So it's really easy to talk about, right? So now we've got this thing. Now, that's the fitness piece, though, all those programs. And then we also have the Shakeology, right? Most of you have probably heard of this, but it is one of the key pieces of our business. Shakeology is the most amazing shake on the market. And I have looked at all of them, and I would not support this shake if I didn't believe in what it does and what it has in it. You don't find any compromises in it. I think of it as that thing that fills in the nutritional gaps. So many people struggle with nutrition. Think about Lisa's story that we just talked about. Nutrition was the piece that was missing for her. She was trying to do a 1,200 calorie restriction diet while trying to train for cycling and for marathons, and it wasn't working. She wasn't putting good, healthy things in her body. She was putting in low calorie things, low fat things that didn't get the job done. Shakeology is one of those things. Like, I don't track my potassium or my manganese intake or all these different intakes. Shakeology fills in all those nutritional gaps for me. It helps me get greens in for the day. It helps me get the protein that I need, all that kind of stuff. It's a complete nutritional shake. And so we have that, and we can help people with that because people are busy and they're grabbing things on the go. And you want them to grab, if they're going to grab something on the go, you want them to grab something like this, not a lean cuisine, right? And not a Frappuccino from Starbucks. You want them to grab something that's actually going to do good things for them instead of harmful things for them, and just be something to put in their mouth. Okay. This is good stuff. Right. Well, also on this team, we have the added benefit of 90-10 nutrition. It's not something that all teams have. It's something that was created on our team, and we use it to help build our businesses and to help people in an amazing way. We teach people how to actually eat clean, real food. So we're not just saying, hey, eat whatever you want and take this Shakeology stuff and it'll fix everything. We don't teach that to people. We don't talk to people about that kind of stuff. We don't say, hey, we've got this magic shake. We say, hey, here's something that will help you with convenience. It's a great shake. And we have this 90-10 nutrition program where you can learn how to eat real food and not feel hungry. And that's what Lisa did. And that's how she lost 40 pounds. And so you'll get to understand 90-10 nutrition when you join this team, and you'll get to help people with it, which is a huge thing. I can explain 90-10 nutrition to you, but it's amazing. It's a great program, and it's going to be a huge asset to you as a coach, as it is to most of us on the team. Okay, so we've got the fitness products, right? We've got the workout DVDs. They work. They're amazing. They're awesome. We've got the nutrition piece nailed. It's Shakeology and 90-10. We've got that. So we've got the fitness and nutrition that people need. And then you and I as coaches go around and support these people. We have challenge groups. We've got all this support for people. We help those people meet their goals. That's what you do as a coach. You share the products with them and the systems with them, like 90-10 and Shakeology and all those workout programs. And then you let them decide, which ones do you want to do? Will this help you? Do you think this is good for you? Bring them into the group, and then you are the support piece for them. Okay. And then you get to have all these great relationships with people. Some of my best friends are now Team Beachbody coaches. And then you get to earn the income, right? You also get to earn income from it. So think about all that you get to do. You get to help people, see them achieve their goals. You get to meet new friends and have a great community that you can go to for support for yourself, so you can stay in shape yourself. and you get to earn income doing that, and everybody's happy. People will send you an email saying, thank you for changing my life while you're making a six-figure income. That's incredible right there. The fact that I can take my kids to school at 9 a.m., not have to punch into a job, make a six-figure income, and get an email from someone thanking me for doing it is an incredible thing. I did not get that at my engineering job. I made a six-figure income. I had to leave my kids, and I rarely, if ever, got an email thanking me for what I was doing. It was just what I was supposed to do as my job, right? Which is fine, but I think what I've got now is better, okay? So here's the deal. The timing and the trends are with us. 2/3 of Americans are obese or overweight, so there's no market saturation there. Beachbody's got the #1 products. Everybody knows about them. We know it works. People hear it and go, oh yeah, I know about that. I've heard that that works. So you've got easy conversations. People are asking for the brands. And then Team Rhino has additional tools to relate to people that you know, like 90/10 Nutrition and all the training that we have that will take you through exactly how to be a coach, okay? You also get to get started for risk-free. So 30-day guarantee on all the products and the coach opportunity. So if you join us today and you're like, you know what, this is stupid, like a couple weeks later, you can send it all back and you get all your money back. So there's really not much risk. There's no front-loaded startup packages. And what I mean by that is you are not going to buy $5,000 worth of Shakeology and put it on shelves in your garage and then hand it out to people as they buy it. And then if you don't do well at it, you have $5,000 worth of Shakeology in your garage. It doesn't work that way. Everything, you don't keep any stock in your garage. It gets sent directly from Beachbody. So when someone wants to buy, they go through your website portal, they get it sent to them. The only thing that you're going to buy when you start out is your products. So you're going to buy probably a challenge pack, which is going to get you a workout program and Shakeology for yourself to use. You're not going to buy a huge stock to stick in your garage, which is huge, huge, huge for this business. Not a lot of companies do it that way, and that's one of the things I love. You're going to have a $15.95 per month coach fee, which covers your websites and your marketing materials, and that's $16 a month to make a six-figure income possibility. $16 a month is your coach fee investment. You have no long-term contract, so if you go past 30 days and then you decide to quit, you send an email with a form attached to it and you quit, and then they stop charging you. That's the whole deal, okay? You have essentially unlimited earning potential, full training available from our team. You don't need to be in perfect shape. There's no sales training or experience required. We'll show you how to share this with people. It's probably something that you're already doing. You're already sharing it with people because you're having results. Or if you're not, once you get these products, you will see the results and you'll be able to share them with people easily. That's how it happened with Lisa. She got the results, she started sharing it with people, and that's why I said, hey, you know, you really should be a coach. You're already sharing this with people. This is an example of how my income has grown since about 2012. I kind of fooled around with the business in 2010, 2011. End of 2011 is when I took it seriously and I said, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to do this full time. And I built it up over the next 6 months or so, quit my job, and then that's how my income has gone. I didn't put real numbers on the side because I didn't want to put an actual income, but I will tell you it's significantly into the six-figure range now, and it grows by 50 to 100% every year, okay? So ask yourself some questions now, and then get with the person who invited you to this webinar and make your decision, okay? So ask yourself, how much would you need to make doing this part-time to make it worth it? Write that number down. How much would you need to make part-time to make this worth it? And then how many hours are you willing to put in to make that happen? You can write it down by day. Are you willing to put in an hour a day? Are you willing to put in 2 hours a day? Are you willing to or you can write it down by week or month. How many hours are you willing to put in to make that number from question 1 happen? And then how many months are you willing to work before you start seeing that result? Because while this is a business that can build very quickly, and you heard that from Lisa, that she was able to get her $160 investment back easily within the first month and much more than that, you know, you're not going to, if you put down, I want to make $1,000 a month in that first question, you're not necessarily going to see $1,000 in your first month, but if you work at the right rate, you will see $1,000 in maybe a few months, right? So how many months is that you're willing to put in before you start seeing that result? And then ask yourself, if I could show you how to do that right now, would you be ready to get started right now? Because most of you, the numbers that you wrote down, it's very possible. So if somebody wrote down that I need to make $10,000 a month and I'm willing to put in half an hour a day and I want to see that next month, well then, okay, we're not going to have a very good conversation about that. But most of you are writing down numbers that I bet you we can make happen with this business. You have the ability to do that. So ask yourself those questions, and then go get with the person that invited you to this webinar and say, okay, these are my numbers. I'm ready to get started if we think we can do this, right? And they'll give you an idea of whether that's possible or not. You know, of course, nothing is guaranteed, but they'll give you an idea if that's possible, and then you can get started. And I urge you to get started right now. And this is the last question I have for you: is what you're doing now going to get you to where you want to be? Because if what you're doing now is not going to get you to the goals that you want, will you only get something different by doing something different? And I already told you that this was risk-free. So think about whether this opportunity can get you to where you want to get to, and then ask yourself, what's the risk, and should I take this? And then go talk to the person who invited you and get on board with us so we can get you started with training. And I think that is all I have to say for this webinar, and I really appreciate all of you being on. I'm going to stop this screen share, bring this back up, and we have a Q&A button. You should have a Q&A button where you can ask a question. We have no open questions right now, but if anybody wants to ask a question, you can feel free to go ahead and hit me up with questions. We'll answer them real quick. I know we're about already 13 minutes over what I said for this webinar. We might have to change our webinar time, because I don't know if I'll ever make 30 minutes, but maybe. I think I was only like 35 last time. So anybody got questions before we call it a night? I'll give us like 1 minute here, a full minute for people to type up some questions. Hopefully you all know who invited you here, because that's the person that you need to talk to right now. If you're like saying, yes, this is something that I want to do. This is something that I can say, yes, this is a good opportunity for me. And so just go talk to them and tell them I'm ready to get started, or I have a couple of questions, and then don't hesitate on it. Okay, so we got one question here. What is the new coach training program? Okay, so we have a new coach training program out. We've always had coach training programs. I'm going to go ahead and just hit answer live on this. We've always had coach trainings, but we've got a new one out where you get an email every day, and it tells you things to do to work the business. And so we've got a great training program out. So if you decide to join the team, you're going to get those emails. You're going to get a phone call where you're going to kind of get some expectations and some mindset and all that kind of stuff. And then you're going to get on this email list. And so it works really well for training new coaches on how to do the business and how to do it right, so that you're not, I know some people are worried about alienating their friends and alienating their family with being spammy or something like that. We teach you how to do it without doing that. We don't spam people. We show people an opportunity and let them decide, and there's no coercion or anything like that. And I hope you didn't feel any of that in this webinar. I hope you felt that I was just trying to show you how much I love this opportunity and what it's done for me and what it's done for Lisa, and then let you decide what you want to do. Anybody else have questions? Nobody's got questions. Okay, again, thank you all for being on the webinar, and good night to all of you. Go talk to the person who invited you, and hopefully we'll be seeing you on Team Rhino soon.